everyone. I was hoping to start with my legs on the table, but I had to get a bathroom break first, and the legs on the table did not start, unfortunately. How are you all doing today? I got stories. Not crazy stories, but it's been a day. It has been a day. There's a reason the live stream is an hour late, and even that I'm running last minute to. Part of it involves a broken muffler. It involves injuring myself 4 times. It involves a broken muffler that I then injured myself a 5th time on, that I probably need to call the hospital and see if I need to get a tetanus shot, because I believe it has been 12 years since my last tetanus shot. And I know that fairly confidently, because around 12 years ago, I stepped on a nail at work, and the nail went into my foot, and I got a tetanus shot, which seemed like the right thing to do. The problem is tetanus shots are good for supposedly 10 years, and ideally they say even 5 to 10 years if you have an injury, and this injury was gotten while dealing with the fact that I was sawing the muffler off the back of my car. And if you're like, why are you sawing the muffler off the back of your car? The answer is because I was driving on the highway, and it's just, not the highway, fortunately, that would have been worse. But I was driving, fast-ish, 40 miles, 50 miles, I don't know, whatever it was. And then, something was clearly dragging on my car. So I pulled off to a local, just store, and in the rain, in the parking lot, just, got underneath my car, saw it was dipped down underneath, and at that point, it was, do I have audio? I do have audio. Okay, I think so. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, get your popcorn. At that point, I saw that the other half had to be in some way cut off. So I grabbed my knife out, which fortunately I carry all the time, and saw the rubber bit that was holding the rest of the car, and now it's in my trunk, at which point I'll go to the mechanic and probably get a new muffler, because I don't imagine that one's going to help me. And then I managed to cut myself in that process. Not on my knife. I don't even know what I cut myself on. It might have been the muffler. I don't know, but I feel if you cut yourself on your muffler and you haven't gotten a tetanus shot in 12 years, I feel that's just a good way to, a good response is get a tetanus shot. So after this conversation, I'll be calling my doctor just to make sure that I should or shouldn't be doing whatever I should or shouldn't be doing. Okay, and now let's go ahead and pop out chat and actually somewhat keep up with all of you, because until now, I've just been doing my own thing, just telling you a story. It's been a day. And like I said, 4th injury, because today's been a bunch of injuries. It's been I injured my hand 3 different times in different ways. My knee in some way started to act up this morning, and now I can't bend the knee. Literally, I can't. It doesn't matter who asks for it, I just can't bend the knee to whoever wants me to bend the knee. I will fall down and collapse. Okay. Hello, everyone. How's it going? Dear Lord. How are all of you doing? Welcome to the weekly live, the Q&A show. I am Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo, and we are going to go ahead and have a conversation about absolutely anything you want to have a conversation about. This is our general random Q&A. You can go ahead and, I don't know, whatever you want to talk about. Next week, we're going to be running a game show, or more specifically, Meg is going to be running a game show that I believe Devin and Jenna are joining. I should say I don't know what time it is. It might be 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It might be 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have to double check the notes back and forth, but it will be a different time than this time, I believe. So next week, Thursday, did I say Wednesday? Next week, Thursday, should be the weekly live game show, which we're aiming for once a month doing a game show version, which Meg will run because she's awesome. And then once a month, I'll probably do a full Q&A. And the other 2 times, I'll probably do a topical one where I decide to talk about a specific topic or conversation, and then we'll see what happens. Or if I'm lazy and or forget, it'll just be a Q&A, because that works too. But I guess the first question I have for you, because it's a Q&A, let's go ahead and talk about, I don't know, what is the best game you've played this week? Oh, I should probably read chat. That's what I do. I forgot. Let's go ahead and read chat. It's been so long. First, second, third, anyone watching Roth? Oh, I'm not only watching Roth. I have a copy of Roth on the way here. Got a text message from Chip Theory the other day just asking if my address is up to date, because I got a picture of a bunch of Roth prototypes. So I have Roth heading my way. I'll be covering that at some point. Good afternoon. Hello, Professor Meg. I've been waiting since 1:45. Honestly, you should have been waiting for earlier. These things are usually 1 o'clock, but it is what it is. Oh, in terms of where I was at Micro Center. And if you're like, what's Micro Center? Micro Center is the world's best place to buy computer parts, and I am finally building that new computer. If you remember the fundraising drive I did last year, which I guess my car needs a fundraising drive, that's a different conversation, but the fundraising drive I did towards the end of 2023, part of that was that I was going to be buying and building a new computer. And I am finally executing on that today, so I just went ahead and spent a whole bunch of money on computer components, and we'll figure out the car bill later. Good afternoon, waiting for I foolishly thought of starting an hour ago. Yeah, not foolishly, Brian. It usually is starting an hour ago. Stories. If anyone say to for level up, have you by any chance gotten the security deposit back? Uh-oh. That's not great. That's not great. Mikhail, if you do have an issue with it, let me know, obviously. Try to go through the hotel directly. That'll be your best bet. But if you can't for any reason, by all means, loop me in. I can't make promises, but I can certainly try. I've got my popcorn ready, white cheddar, enjoy. Email a couple days later, told the whole team will look back into it. Nothing yet. Alex, hello. Son of a, hello. Hello, John. Last live show, Alex broke his furnace. Now he broke his muffler. Wait till next week. Something, I don't know. What else could break? I don't know. I think things break a lot in life. Like, as an adult, things break more often than they should, which maybe that's just me. Maybe that's my experience. But I find nothing's ever going exactly the way it should be. Things are constantly going wrong. Now, sometimes they go right too, which is where things can rubber band back and forth to a large degree. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like cars break all the time. Furnaces, even though this time I'm replacing the furnace for the first time, I feel I've had at least 2 or 3 times a year where I have to have someone come out and check the furnace for something or other. I don't know. Things break. I deal with a pane of glass situation get replaced. Oh my gosh, a tree fell down on a lawn that had to be cut up. Like, things just go wrong. Life is all full of things going wrong. There are benefits to being a tenant as opposed to, like, owning your own home. But then again, owning your own home is nice because that money you pay every month goes into your own equity as opposed to somebody else's. But there are pros and cons both ways. Life's more stressful as a landlord or a homeowner, I should say. But life is the pros and cons. Ryan, how are things? You mean next week's show? Hope things are going well. Welcome to the old. Glad you're okay, even if a bit beat up. I am a bit beat up. Professor Meg, shut up. What? Who said? What happened? Shut up. Shut the front effing door. What happened? What happened, Meg? Was that me? Did I say something? When someone asks you how many games you have, do you include or exclude expansions? I exclude expansions. I do not include expansions. Somebody says, I mean, the most basic way I'd put this, okay? Let's just go into fun little conversations, okay? If you own Catan and all the expansions and no other games, and someone says to you, how many games do you own? Do you say 1 or 5? And there's more expansions, but I'm just saying, like, the basics. Okay, if you say 5, kudos to you. I think that's deceptive. I think that is not the answer the person's looking to hear. Now, you could say 1 plus expansions, or 1 with expansions. That's a more clarifying answer, but I would never include expansions in my game count. That just seems instinctively wrong. Although, do what you want, because trust me, people judge me for the way I log plays. Ryan T, been okay? Got some game stays with friends for the holidays over the weekend. Now looking forward to next game day. New computer. James, I'm looking forward to the new computer. Dear Lord, I'm looking forward. My computer, I love it, but like I like building my computers, but every 4 or 5 years, you got to go ahead and update that thing. They don't last forever. I mean, they do last for a long time, but they don't stay fresh and interesting forever. And honestly, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to building it. Well, I'm not looking forward to building it. I'm looking forward to having it built. Joey Crouch, Michael, just got mine back in the sense that a hole has been on my card for almost a week, then fell off. Good to know. Just got Sprawlopolis. Excited to try my first Button Shy game. Sprawlopolis is delightful. It was the game that made me fall in love with Button Shy. Born and Chill, hello Alex. Got to finally join the live show. Have you played the Black Rose Wars Rebirth yet? Yes, doing the prototype phase, not since then. I'm usually fixing something every other day or so. Yeah, James, it is a lot. There's always stuff to deal with. And like, I have a smart home as well, meaning all my lights are smartified, which means every other week something goes wrong. And it makes it sound like it's a bad thing. Honestly, I like the smart home so much. I would not live without a smart home. I love, would not live is a strong statement. I would never choose to go non-smart home. I would always choose to smart home everything up. Because you could just say whatever you want. You'd be like, turn on the dining room, turn on this. You get into bed at night. You don't have to like go flip the switch off. You just say, turn the switch off. So I love a smart home, but it does mean you have to occasionally reconnect lights and figure things out. Who got 7 Citadel? I did not, but I have seen that a very large box has been arriving by people. Although I did get Robinson Crusoe. I need to unbox that. I'm still drinking coffee. That's a problem. That's a problem because ideally at 3 o'clock, at 3:30 I should say. Ideally at 3:30 I'm going to start doing my unboxing of Robinson Crusoe. And I usually do that with coffee, so we'll get more coffee. It's been a day. I deserve more coffee. This is an orange mocha. It's not my everyday coffee, but it's a nice little splash of like, what the hell were you thinking? Anyways, I don't want to introduce new people. We had a furnace break a couple of years ago. Had a bunch of carbon monoxide in the house. Wasn't good. Yeah, Aaron. I have carbon monoxide detectors in all levels of the house. Fortunately, because I do take dying from things that you try to avoid seriously. Hence me calling a doctor about my tetanus shot after the stream is over, after I unbox Robinson. It's gonna be a day. Today has been like non-stop since I got up. It's been meetings and videos and bouncing back and forth. It's a day. We had a fridge, dishwasher, and AC all baked within a couple of months last summer. That's not fun. Preston Mag, that was my excitement over Roth coming. I didn't know. I'm so happy. Oh, good. I wasn't sure what happened, but yeah, Roth is on the way. I shouldn't say that. Roth is not necessarily on the way, but it's being shipped here. I got confirmation on the address situation. Board collect, I'm in new construction, so the odds of that happening to me in X years is high. That's fair. I exclude expansions and now start to exclude print and plays. I need a new computer. Yes, well, need a new computer. Sorry for that. They are... You have a few options. You can get cheap computers, but I like computers that cost a decent amount. I find you can get a very, very good computer for in the $1,500 range, less if you're able to harvest parts from your own old one. Like if you're able to use the case or the this or that. You don't want to harvest too much, like some things you want to replace. But $1,500 will get you a very decent distance depending on what you're doing. Obviously, if you're doing a high-end gaming all the time, if you're trying to do 4K gaming, you don't even want to have that conversation. But, 4K is fine. 4K gaming, that is a high threshold to deal with. Let's see. Played Arkham Horror LCG. Just got Black Rose Rebirth. Phenomenal competitive game, in my opinion. What's your thoughts on Black Rose? I think Black Rose is a very, very fun game that I have always found is annoying enough to teach and deal with. It's not the most intuitive game to get off the board, and even Black Rose Rebirth I thought was only marginally better in that sense. I think the game is a lot of fun. Lots of powers and abilities left, right, and center. Is it a game that would make my top games? I don't think so. Like, I'm having to be more vindictive almost. Not vindictive, but there's a degree of vindictiveness to it. I have to be more particular about the games I keep, because I like a lot of games. I was just having this discussion with Meg yesterday. We were filming Cascadia Roll and Write. And towards the end of the video, you'll see the conversation when you watch that review. But towards the end of the video, I was like, because Meg started to finally start rating things on camera, and so she's asking me what my ratings mean. Like, let's be consistent. Why not? And my ratings do have a meaning. I find, what is a 7.5? What is an 8? What is an 8.5? What do those things mean to you? Because if they're just if a 7.5 is better than a 7, that's fine, but what does it mean? I find it helps me to have a meaning attached to scores, and so for me, each of the scores I have, and the weird part is I don't have a 0.5. One is my lowest score, and it goes up to 5. And I agree that 0.5 theoretically should be in there if I'm grading on a 0.5 scale, but it's not, whatever. But that's also because very few games go that low. But each of my ratings does have an actual meaning that I associate with that number, while trying to also be common enough in the way they operate that even if you didn't know my meaning, you would still get value out of that system. Meaning I've had people say oh, I rated on a 7-point scale. You know the problem with rating on a 7-point scale? If you say, oh yeah, that game's a 7 for me, that doesn't sound good. Versus if you say that game's a 5 for me, there's already, because 5-point scales and 10-point scales are so prominent, that if you say something's, oh my gosh, that's a 5 for me, it's almost inherently obvious what you're referring to. There will be some miscommunication, but it's more inherently obvious. Versus if you do things like, I'm going to be clever, I'm going to use a 4-point scale. Congratulations, but if people don't realize that, you are going to cause chaos in what you do. So having a 5-point scale and 0.5s, even if people do want 10s, I prefer the 5-point scale. With the 0.5s, I understand, whatever, but at least it's more intuitive. And additionally to be intuitive, I have an actual rating and meaning that I personally assign to them because it helps me acknowledge what that game is and how it is to me. I don't have to remember if a game was a 7.5, I just have to think about how do I feel about that game. Now, the feeling might change. That's the tricky part. Feelings do change over time. Something that was a 4 to 5 today, might be a 3.5, 7 months from now. And that could change either based on how I change as a gamer, or based on playing it more, or sometimes based on not playing it more. And sometimes the trickiest one for me is when your opinion of a game changes, not because it's actually changed or you've changed, but because you've forgotten the experience of playing it. Now, this does happen. There are times, especially with crowdfunding, this happens. There are prototypes I'll get in, and then a year and a half later, I'll get the prototype, and I'll be like, I give that a 4 to 5. Like, this happened with, darn it. There's a game. It's a 2-player game. It's got elements of Hearthstone to it. It's got worker placement. Steamforged Games picked it up. King... I feel there's a K. I feel there's a K on the title. Not Kingwood, but something else. I don't know. Whatever it is. Steamforged Games picked it up. Worker placement. King Hill, thank you. You see, there's a king. I got it. Okay. Sorry. King Hill is a game that I rated it a 4 to 5, and I got it. And then it's one of those games, and I've had this happen, and I've talked about this before, but I kind of got the game, and I was like, I give that a 4 to 5. But I'm not excited to play it. That's not right. Why did I give that a 4 to 5? Was it in the moment? And then I played it. I played it again after, before getting rid of it. I was like, I'll play it again because I had a friend over. It's a 2-player game. I was like, good, let's play it. I was like, no, this game is just as good as I remember. I'm still excited for it. And so that does happen. The problem is if you don't play a game again, sometimes your rating changes based on almost forgetting how good an experience was or how bad an experience was. That could happen too. But anyways, point was, why am I getting into this? Oh yeah, 4 to 5. So 4 to 5 to me, a 4 used to be a game I'm almost always keeping. Usually it was, I think I'm almost always keeping it, but I might not if there are better games in that genre. And that meaning has stayed the same, The difference is the better games in that genre, that ratio gets worse and worse over time, because over time I play more and more games. And the amount of games that creep into my high opinions is higher than the amount of games that dip out of my high opinions. Meaning games do shift up and down, but the amount of games that I discover that move up means that there's a higher ratio of games coming into like a top 100 than games that would leave a top 100, except for the fact that they've been forced out. I don't know why we started this conversation, but I started this conversation somewhere. Okay. I don't include expansions. I need a computer. Just got Black Rose. Oh yeah, Black Rose Wars. That's what it was. So Black Rose Wars to me is a very good game that I just don't know if it hit the table compared to other games. But I do like it. It is a fun game. Buddy, Bergman, Michael. I don't include expansions. I'm happy that I just figured out BG as a filter for that. Yes, they do. I think they said they have 5 Roth prototypes going out. Could be wrong. Mikhail, if they have 5 Roth prototypes going out, then I respect that, but also someone's got to explain that Facebook picture where they have like 30 Roth prototypes. So what are they doing with the other 25? I don't know. Someone's being good for Christmas. Santa's getting presents. I have no clue what they're doing, but I don't know how many are actually going out. But they have a picture on Facebook where they're like, hey, look at all our Roth prototypes. And it might be more than 30. It might be like 40. I don't know. Check it out. That's a big number of prototypes. Again, I don't know what's actually being sent out. I recently picked up Hegemony. Don't get me wrong, also, I'd be flattered if I was one of 5. I'd be very flattered. Ship 3 games, you guys are the best, thank you. Mikhail, I think said no, Bellibligion. I recently picked up Hegemony. So what I want to ask is, cheers after your review, what do you think about the game? Do you still play the game? No, but I said that in my review. In my review 2 years ago, I said this is a great game. I had a lot of fun with it. I also have no interest in teaching this game. Asymmetric games are hard to get to the table, they're hard to teach. Root is a game I love, but I usually don't teach it to new players, at least very infrequently. And Hegemony was worse than Root to teach. So I think it's a very, very good game. I'm happy to play it, but even in my review, I was like, I just don't see this getting prioritized in my experience was a 4 to 5. It's so tricky. I haven't really accounted for that yet. I do account for it to some extent, but how do you rate a game that you want to play it, but you don't want to teach it, and therefore it's less likely to get played? And there are a lot of games that do fit into that category. And usually I ding you some degree of desire to play, because I kind of mentally bundle all together. But Hegemony was excellent. I was very happy to see that a lot of people have very much enjoyed it. For me, I do enjoy it, I'm just not interested in teaching it. You have to remember, I play a lot of games, and so that means that one of the downsides is because there's less repetition, certain kinds of games, even though I appreciate them at the time, are less likely to stick around in my collection because I have to mentally calculate for like how often you're going to hit the table and is it worth the teach. Have you gotten around trying Tamashi and you got it? I have Tamashi. I have not gotten around to trying it. Not entirely sure if I understood that correctly. I finally got a shipping notification for Robinson. Mine arrived yesterday. I'll be unboxing it today. Don't know when the video will go up because there's still an unboxing for Cyberpunk 2077 headed your way, and I don't know when that's going up either. Game count, that makes sense. I think about it. The reason I ask is BG's top line number includes expansions, so I was wondering when people with huge collections maybe include them. I think they do include expansions. They don't include in the top 100, right? In the top 100, I don't... Do they? Maybe they do. I don't know, actually. Now I'm wondering. Maybe there just aren't expansions in the top 100. That's possible, too. I noticed your coffee is very different today. Yes, Stacy, because I was out and I grabbed coffee. It's not the coffee I would typically drink, hence the lack of Umber mug. It's not bad. I just wanted to try it, honestly. It's pure curiosity. This is going to be my 3rd coffee of the day, and I usually try to have 2 coffees a day. Oh, to be fair, this is replacing lunch, so the calories balance out. Sunniva, I forgot the time difference, and I thought you were drinking coffee at 8 p.m. Sunniva, I would drink coffee at 8 p.m. I'm not as scared to do that at all. Morganite, I just got mine today. Joachim, Alex, any chance for some more Kingdom Rush content? I got really interested in the game since watching your unboxing. Yes, I want to play all the games. I can't play all the games, but I want to play all the games. Kingdom Rush is safe in my collection. Got all boxed up here. I really enjoy it. Don't know when I'm playing it next, but I really do enjoy it. Stacy, I'm stuck in an Apple world, unfortunately. I just need it for my graphics work, no gaming. Yeah, listen, Apple has a lot of compelling aspects. I'm not pulled in that direction, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know if I care. Aaron, we recently had apparently defective monoxide detectors have new ones. That's terrifying. It is a good reason to have multiple carbon monoxide detectors in your house. It's a good reason because it's not foolproof. You still want one on each level, but at least if you have one on each level, it is safer if one goes out. It's not perfect, but it's at least safer. Board Collect. If it's for work, it should be able to write off, which will allow you to have 2 computers. Oh, my computer gets written off. Absolutely. But just, like, people talk about write-offs as if it makes the thing free. It doesn't make the thing free. It gives you somewhere around a 20-25% discount on the thing, which is good, but, like, it's still a lot of money for things. Aaron Taylor. No, we covered that. John Frosty. The Apple is pretty awesome, though, but not ideal for gaming. Yep. Board and Shield. I think Black Rose Rebirth is my #1 game, and I'm someone who's a huge area control combat. I'm glad you're enjoying it that much. And it's interesting as well, because I do think there are games that are elevated if you're playing them more. Meaning, what's an example of that? I think how to explain this? If you like Blood Rage, you like it this much. And if you like, let's say, Root, you like it this much. But if you play Blood Rage 3 times as much, your score might go up a drop. And if you play Root 3 times as much, your score might go up a lot more. I do think there are games that have a higher degree of benefit from the repeated plays you give them. And games that have a higher teach and more work to get into often fall in that category. Games like Hegemony, games like Twilight Inscription, Twilight Imperium, not Twilight Inscription. So I think there are games that do benefit more from the repeated plays, and I could see Black Rose War as being in that camp. Let's see. Pariah, hello all, I'm late. Pariah, don't worry, I'm late too. This stream should be over by now. John, you should try more Nova Aetus more. It could be one of my favorite dungeon crawlers. The story's just okay, but the gameplay feels like Final Fantasy Tactics. I like Nova Aetus, but I don't know. I have too many games. I have to get rid of games. I have to go through my collection and just purge, especially campaign games. I can't play all the ones I have, so why do I keep holding on to the ones that I want to play when there are ones I really want to play over that? So Nova Aetus is in the want to play camp. I've played it. I've enjoyed it, but I don't know if I would pick Nova Aetus over Isis Vanguard, over Isophaeron Guard, over Madara, over Morgamonia, over, I don't know, Monster Hunter World even. No, I think Nova Aetus I think is better than Monster Hunter World, but I think Monster Hunter World is more different than Nova Aetus. There's less competing aspects. So great game. I just have limited time. Patadon, do you always play Vindication of the Chronicles or is better off without it? I have never played Vindication of the Chronicles. I love Vindication as is, and that has made me less incentivized to try new aspects. Eventually I'll get around to it. I'm just not in a rush. If I like an experience enough, then it's one of those weird dynamics, because I'll buy. If Vindication goes on crowdfunding tomorrow, I will buy whatever they have. Sight unseen, I do not care. I am buying anything from Vindication. But I also love the game enough that I don't actually try the new stuff. I'm like, I'll get to it, whatever. And that's how I feel about Vindication with Chronicles. It could be like the game is so much better as is, but it was already my number one. Was it my number one? It's my number one game this past year. So like, I'm saying that without expansions. I haven't played Leaders, I haven't played Chronicles, I've played maybe 1 or 2 modules. I just haven't felt the need. It's such a good experience. And I had that with Terraforming Mars too for a while. Terraforming Mars with Prelude is the best experience. But eventually I got around to trying all the expansions, and they didn't even elevate the gameplay for me. Not that much. Prelude does. The rest are kind of like hit or miss. Like, they do some nice things, but they add more complexity and game time. So like, I don't know. But I'm not saying Vindication of the Chronicles or the things are bad. I'm just saying I haven't felt the need to incorporate it. Pariah, better late than never. 100% valid point. I'm all about loopholes. We're all about loopholes. What's your favorite game exactly? 5 players. El Grande. El Grande. Instinctively, when you ask that question, the only answer that pops in my head is El Grande. When I think of a game that is best with 5 and only with 5, it's not better with more or not playable with more, and it's not better with less, El Grande is one answer. Another answer would be Cosmic Encounter. I find Cosmic Encounter does suffer. I don't have Cosmic Encounter anymore, but I think it's fantastic. I do find Cosmic Encounter isn't as good with 4, and it's a little too long at 6. It really is 5 players where I will like want to play Cosmic Encounter. I feel there have to be others, but instinctively El Grande and then Cosmic Encounter are the 2 that jump into mind. Hell, I had 8 p.m. coffee last night. That's right, Nat. I find for me, 9 p.m. is where I start to have second thoughts. And for context, I go to bed at anywhere between 2 to 4 a.m. Generally between 2 and 3, but I sometimes cross that number. The problem is sometimes I go to 3, and if I go to 3, by the time I'm actually in bed and asleep and all that, it's like 3:40, because like suddenly I go ahead and wrap that up and I save that, and then maybe I take a shower, and maybe I on my phone doom scrolling for a bit. So if I go to bed at 3, it might be 3:40 before I'm asleep. But generally between 2 to 3 is when I go to bed. So 9 p.m. is usually where I start wondering, should I be wary of that coffee? I still might have it, to be very clear, but that's why I start to wonder. I've had coffees as late as 11 p.m. and it hasn't affected my sleep. I do find 2 hours is the window. 2 hours from when I have coffee to when I go to bed is where I'm affected by coffee. So strictly speaking, if I'm going to bed at 2 p.m. at the earliest, which generally is the earliest, it's very rare that I'm in bed before 2 p.m., that means I can have coffee safely up to 12 a.m. But I am still mindful of it. I'm working on Suddenly Agamemnon with my game group right now. Very excited. Agamemnon is so much fun. I love it. I love the game. My finger... Like, I wouldn't feel tetanus now, right? Is that just a bandage that's too tight? I mean, the wound happened an hour and a half ago. Tetanus now seems extreme. That seems like you don't have any time to do anything. Randall, interesting. I found Hegemony to be way easier to teach than Root, because you're basically doing the same kind of actions. You're doing them for different reasons, but the mechanics are the same. I hear you. I do hear you. I don't know why it is, but I find... It could just be that I find the base idea of hegemony too much. I don't know. I've taught both. Root I've taught to a variety of people. Hegemony I only taught once. I played it with the designers on TTS twice actually. I played with the designers twice on TTS, and then I played with my game group twice, if I recall correctly. And so I taught it one time to my game group, and I was taught one time. But I remember just not, and again, prototype, so maybe it was harder then, I don't know, but I remember being like, I do not want to teach this game. And Root, to be fair, Root is also a game I don't want to teach, but just a little bit less so. I was sad that I didn't get to play with you at Level Up Retreat, but I made the vlog, and maybe we can play at the next event. So Eric, the biggest thing is be proactive, genuinely. I find that, one of the things we're trying to do differently at the next level up to accommodate for this, because not everyone is proactive in the sense of, not everyone is interested in being like, oh, do I want to like ask that person to play a game? Do I want to like invade their space or whatever it is? So we get that. So next level up, we are trying to do some scheduled events where you can book a spot. I assume they'll go quickly, but we're going to try to have all the special guests, myself included, sign themselves up on the actual like site, on the event, so you can go on and be like, oh, I caught a game. I think that's just going to be a regular event. You can just jump in. I don't think we're doing a raffle. I don't think we're making it paid. I think it's just first come, first serve, which is tricky. We might do first come, first serve, but kicking out duplicates. Meaning effectively, we might be like, hey, we can't have the same person signing up for an event with me, with Devin, with Meg, with Paulo, with Jenna. We can't do, that's just not fair. So that's actually a good point. I should think of that. We might specifically say, you can only sign up for one of them, and I don't know if we can officially limit that, but we might say, hey, if you sign up for multiple, you're going to be kicked from some of them, and you won't have a choice which one you get kicked for. So that might be something we try to manage for. But we want to try to give people the ability to sign up at events, so they don't have to, like, awkwardly be like, hey, Jenna, can you play a game with me? So that's something we're going to be trying to do. That said, at least speaking for myself, not speaking for the other special guests, if you try to catch my eye while I'm walking around and asking me to play a game, I will usually either try to play a game now if I'm able to, or say, hey, can we play a game later, and then try to, loop back with you. So proactivity does get rewarded with me to a degree. I can't obviously do everything, but it makes it easier. There were times level up where I was looking for people to play a game, but then if I don't see someone loitering around, I'm even mindful of being like, hey, do I want to just loop people in? So I have done it. Like the very first game I played level up was Cascadia, where I literally just walked into the room with Cascadia Roll and Write, and then grabbed 3 people. I was like, who wants to play Cascadia Roll and Write? It was early in the morning, so the room wasn't busy, so I was able to just say it loudly, like, anyone Cascadia Roll and Write? Boom, and we played it the first morning, which is nice. One of the people in that group said his main goal was to play a game with me, and it's the first thing he did the first day, which is great. But again, it's proactivity and signups. We'll be working on signups. Dun, 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 dun. Charles, in the past month I've received Destiny's Legacy of Isla Nublar. Legacy of Isla Nuclear is a different game. Hero Quest, ISS Vanguard, Wormspan, Marvel Zombies, and Detective City of Angels. I feel your pain. I play a lot of games. A lot of games. I played 396 or 7 new games last year. It's a lot, but I love what I do, so it works. Asaf, bonjour. Bonjour, Asaf. Good to see you here. Martine, hi Alex, any game mechanic that grew on you over time? Cheers from good old Germany. So I can't speak specifically to, trick-taking. Trick-taking grew on me over time, that's for sure. But something I've noticed towards the end of last year, and it's more of a noticing than a actual growing, but I noticed that there are a specific category of games that I really love, and if it falls into this concept, then I'll usually love you as a game. Usually, can't say always. Am I spilling coffee? I'm spilling coffee. I have like 3 coffee flecks. What am I doing? This lid is not working. I have 3 coffee flecks on my mat. I should probably learn how to clean this. I have no idea what I'm doing. I should probably stop waving the coffee. Anyways. So, I had 3... Oh, no, not 3. So, the 3 coffee flecks. That's what the 3 was. A genre of gaming that I've learned that I really enjoy, not genre, just a specific nuance, is if you have an engine that works as is. So the engine is defined, whatever that engine might be. That engine could be a Feast for Odin, the engine could be Vindication, the engine could be Scythe, or not Scythe, Expeditions. There's all different games that fall into the category. But then what you do is you take that engine, and now you have a good engine that already works as is, but the cards in that engine and the variety in that engine is absolutely extreme. So the rules are predefined and locked in, and the variety you get from the card play makes it very, very, very different every single time you play. That's something I found that I very much enjoy. Now, I won't say every game that has that will I enjoy, but if you look at some of my favorite games of all time, they do have that. If you look at, Vindication, my #1 game. You look at Terraforming Mars, which was my #1 game for 2 years. If you look at, Expeditions, which was in my top 20, whatever it is. You look at Wayfarers of South Tigris. You look at Revive. You look at, I don't know, I could try to keep naming games. But even if you have a good game that builds off of a ton of abilities that make it different every single time, then effectively I can't beat the game. I can't learn the game. You can't be like, oh, it's Agricola, just get wood first, or whatever. You can't define the game into pure strategies, because the strategies are really defined by the variety of card play that you have. And so I find that I really enjoy games that fall into that category. In general, it's true across the board for me. I like games that feel variable, that feel like every time I play it, like Hadrian's Wall, I recently got rid of. And Cascadia Roll and Write, which is definitely an inferior game compared to Hadrian's Wall, I think will last longer in my collection than Hadrian's Wall. And the reason for that is Hadrian's Wall, over the 20 plays I gave it over time, it started to feel like I was going in the same patterns and playing the same game and just trying to slightly optimize within that game, which isn't what I like. I like it when a game feels different every time I play it. Now, there are exceptions to that too, because Castle of Burgundy does not fall into that category, and it's an amazing game that I play an absolute ton. So there are always going to be exceptions, but as a general rule, I appreciate variety over how good a game is, because how good a game is will last me until I start to fall into patterns of what's optimal, because variety will keep that fresher for me longer. You also love Everdell. You also love Everdell. Haven't played many expansions. You're not wrong. I love Everdell. Everdell also falls into that category. Exactly same conversation. I love Everdell. Oh my gosh, I am predictable. It turns out. Charles Kernet is the Nubler. Autocorrect. Asaf, what's your take on the new reprint of El Grande? Should you try to get it with a big box? So I haven't seen it in person, but what I've seen of it doesn't make me interested in owning it or trying it out. Like, if I ever get my hands on a copy, I'll see it in person. But like, I don't know, because I haven't seen it, but like, for me it's big box all the way, at least from what I do know. Brian, we're trying COB at level up with expansions. Does that make you want to try any modules expansions for other games left untouched? When does that become a priority? Never, Brian. Never. But honestly, your question is fair. So I love Castle Burgundy. Playing it with the Shields module and playing with the Vineyards module made me like Castle Burgundy more. So maybe I should try Vindication modules. Brian, you have a good point. You have an excellent point. I would say in life, there's rules and there's extras and there's things I should play. Brian, you're not wrong. Your logic is flawless. The only restriction would be the rules overhead and the process of when I sit down to play Vindication, do I have the extra time to learn a new module, or am I like, screw it, I just want to play a good game? And that is a limitation that I frequently have in my life. So I should probably play Vindication with the expansion. Fair point, Brian. Checkmate. Martine, have you played Everdell Mistwood? Worth it? That's going to be a question for Meg, I guess. Stacy, I don't mind 8 p.m. coffee. I too easily stay up between 1 to 3 a.m. Professor Meg, Tethos will politely wait until after stream. Just ask nicely. Mikhail, there's some kind of Vindication Kickstarter coming later this year. Is there, Mikhail? Is there a Vindication Kickstarter? Orange Nebula, you're going to get an email from me. Professor Meg, Martine, I don't believe I've played that one yet. Ryan Gilmore, afternoon everyone. The Q&A is in the background soundtrack while I play Ashes Vanguard. Oh boy, what a game. Indeed, on both counts. I gotta stop flinging my coffee onto my player mat. I'm out. It's like this lid is not great. The coffee is delicious. The lid is terrible. Okay. Eric, I'm trying to convince her she had a blast playing with you and Chris. No, wrong one. Okay, sorry. Found myself on one of the ballrooms the entire... Where are we? Stacy, I found myself in one of the half of the ballroom the entire time, not where most of the Alex crew was. I don't know if there's an Alex crew. There was a crew for sure. There was a crew. I would occasionally show up in that crew. I was making my way around a decent amount. Ryan, afternoon everyone, the queue, nope, wrong one. Brian, yes, I can see Sonic's making level up feel like a job for creators and lose the magic. Brian, so here's the deal. So first of all, you're not wrong. One of the things that's always complicated about running retreats, or running anything, forget retreats. One of the things that's complicated about life in general, fly buzzing around, one of the things that's complicated about life in general is trying to figure out how to make everyone happy. And the answer is you can't. But there's a balance. And so I was against signups for creators. I was. Last year and this year, my team wanted to do signups for creators. And judging from my own personal bias, I don't like that. The reason I don't like that is because I like to be able to hop from thing to thing to thing as much as possible. If I have a 1 o'clock game with somebody, then suddenly at 11 o'clock, when you ask me to play a game, I might have to say no because I have to be mindful that I only have 2 hours till 1 o'clock. So for me, playing game conventions, as opposed to like when I go to Origins, Gen Con, PAX Unplugged, I already have enough meetings that so much of it is going to be meetings and schedules and whatnot. For me, playing games, Dice Tower West, Board Game Geek Con, whatever, any of those ones I go to, Level Up, that to me, the fun is about being able to just go from thing to thing. I don't want a scheduled event. So, and because I don't want that, I was biased towards the fact that I don't want creators to feel like they have that either. There are 2 reasons I changed my mind on this. The first is that after Level Up 1, one of the pieces of feedback we got that was negative. Level Up 1, we asked people for feedback. In fact, this Level Up 2, we asked people for feedback as well. And we do want your critical feedback. The best person to give feedback about Level Up is the person who enjoyed it, but has things they wish were better. That is the best person. The person who didn't enjoy it, to a certain extent, have to write off their feedback because enough people did enjoy it that if you didn't enjoy the event, I have to wonder if it's even for you as much, if that makes sense. But the person who enjoys it all the way, that's amazing, I'm happy, but it also means you can't tell us what to do better. The person who enjoyed it but wished something was better, for example, that the vendor hall wasn't buried off in a corner somewhere, which we know about, trust me, but that person is very helpful because it helps us make the event better. After Level Up 1, we got, I think there were a few pieces of feedback that were consistent as far as the things people wish were better. And when I say consistent, I don't mean everyone across the board. I mean, like, after year 1, I think maybe 100 people answered the form, and then maybe like 15 people said what I'm about to say. But 15 out of 100 is a large enough number that I have to be mindful of it. And what the 15 people or so said was, it felt like the content creators were all with the content creators, and that they're all playing with their friends effectively, and that someone who might have come to the convention because they wanted to hang out with Daniel Strandring, with Gant Lyon, with whoever, they didn't necessarily get that, they got that feeling as much. And now keep in mind, even at Level Up 1, a lot of people did get that opportunity. But if enough people didn't, then something we were mindful about going into Level Up 2, Winter Retreat, is we basically ask content creators to make it a priority to spend some of the time, not all, but some of the time playing with, incorporating people into their games, however you want to do it, but make sure you spend some of your time not just with your friends. Now again, keep in mind, content creators are people too. I want to spend time with my friends. I do. Nothing against random person who I'm playing a game with, but I do like my friends and I want to spend time with my friends. I'm a human being. It's debatable, but I'm mostly a human being. And so I'm mindful of not making this a job for content creators. I want them to have fun at the event. But I also don't mind saying, hey, we're comping your badge, comping your room in some cases. We can ask you a little bit of, work or whatnot. So to some extent, we basically said, hey, please incorporate people. And people did it differently. On my end, for example, I would say I had a few games that were exclusively with people I don't know. But most of my games did have both people I knew and people I didn't know. I tried to incorporate both. That way I get to spend time with a friend and get to spend time with, incorporating someone new to the table. That's what I mostly did. Brian, you see, I expected that comment, but that I agree with you. But anyways, that's kind of where I walked into Level Up Retreat this time with. After this event, I decided to incorporate also some degree of schedules. Now, keep in mind, I don't think it's going to be insane, because I think there's Stacy saying that, you don't want it to be, Brian, you don't want to make it a job for content creators. Yes, I agree with you. I'm not going to be asking content creators to do a lot of games. I might ask them to do like, hey, can you be part of at least one scheduled game? And then, same as last year, incorporate people into your games. I don't want to make it too crazy. I don't want to do a lot of that. The main point of the schedule is twofold. One is I had at least one content creator saying they preferred that. They wanted that they actively preferred to have scheduled games because then they didn't feel the pressure of, finding random people to play a game. They had it scheduled ahead of time. And for me, I don't want that. But hey, if somebody else does, by all means. And two is, I realized after this year that I have to be mindful of the fact that if we don't have some degree of scheduled events, then people who are likely to be more passive and not trying to loop their way into a game might have a harder time joining. So we want everyone to feel included and all that stuff. So that's kind of basically all the stuff there as far as how that goes. So that's a long question. Let's go back to the other thingy. Eric, I got to have a great time playing Terraform Mars Professor Meg, though. She destroyed us. That game was the highlight of my retreat. Will you and Anne be at WSPG? Aw, that's nice. Eric, I'm trying to convince her. She had a blast playing with you and, let's go ahead. She had a blast playing with you and Chris. Eric, we would have been definite attendance if I beat Jenna at the finals, but I lost to her. Jenna is good. Eric Jang, what game mechanic are you tired of or think needs a modern take to shake things up? This coffee is insane. What is with this? This lid is terrible. It's just dripping. Like, what? Who made this cup? Good coffee, terrible cup. What mechanic do I think needs a modern take? Worker placement already has gotten a modern take. Trick taking has gotten 7,000 modern takes. Drafting, maybe? Is there something interesting you could do with drafting? Like, Inish has a fun thing with drafting where you can draft cards, but then you don't have to keep the ones... Honestly, I'll answer that, okay? So, Inish is a game that does drafting in a way that I've never seen done in other games. I've yet to see it done, I'm sure it has happened, but I've yet to see it personally. Which is, you start with 4 cards, you draft them, you pick one, and pass. Then you get 3 more cards, but if I want, I can keep 2 cards from the new hand and pass my original card. Okay? That happens in Inish. Basically, you have to always increase the number of cards, but you don't actually have to keep the card from your first draft. The problem with Inish is because you're only drafting 4 cards, it's actually fairly rare for that to happen. Usually, most of the time, you are going to ultimately keep the card you got because it's the best option at the time. Once in a while, you change things up, but not frequently. I want to see that done with a higher card count in drafting. I want to see like a 7-card hand where you have that mechanic. Because I am curious. I like the concept of the mechanic a lot. I love the idea of it. But I want to see it done more, if that makes sense. What time is it, by the way? 2:45. We're doing fine. We're doing fine. I just had an Ice Brown Sugar Oat Milk Espresso from Starbucks. I enjoyed the Ice Brown Sugar Milk Espresso. Shaken, not stirred. Cat to Cool. Hey Alex, I have way more games than I have time to play. Do you have any advice against myself to let go of unplayed games that I suspect will be good but not great? Get rid of them? Oh, so nah, let's be more helpful than that. So first of all, getting rid of them is helpful. If you even pick 5 of them, pick 5 and just get rid of them and see if you actually care later. That's number 1. The other thing that I have found does work for me is when I want to get rid of a game, whether a game I haven't played yet or whether a game I have played but that I'm on the fence about getting rid of. I find having a dedicated section of my shelf where I take the game off the shelf and I put it onto the dedicated extra overflow shelf, wherever it be, or it could be a different room, it could be under your bed, whatever it is. But take 10 games out of your collection that you are going to get rid of and put them into this dedicated out-of-the-way space where they are leaving. They're absolutely totally leaving. Except they don't actually have to. You are allowed to take games back from that spot. You're allowed to. But they go into the spot where the games are leaving. If you want, you can rescue one. But the goal is, in theory, they're leaving. You just have like that leeway. And then a month later, if you haven't had second thoughts about those games, that's when you know it's time to get rid of them. Now, if you have second thoughts about all 10 games, we have a different conversation, a different problem. But I do find getting rid of a game and then allowing yourself to take it back does sometimes overcome the hesitancy you might have. Because over time, one of two things happens when you do that. You're like, either, yeah, it's been a month and I couldn't care less, or you're a month later, you're like, I still don't want to do it. So I do find that has helped me. I really enjoyed Collector Cruise. Thanks to Jeremy Howard. Press and Meg, you guys tried to get to try it. I got to try it. I don't believe Press and Meg got to try it. I've played it already. And I have a review coming up on that game. I like it. I do like it. Although, again, large teach. Am I the only one who's nervous that the coffee and laptop are going to meet? You were the only one. It's one of those sip lids, strawless. Yeah. Mikhail, one listed items for the second Wormhole event this year is Vindication Mystery Kickstarter launch. Ooh. Well, good to know. The fun of jumping around is one reason I don't like signing up to play with celebrity. Yeah, I wouldn't sign up. To me, I get enough of the signed up schedule at these large conventions that the joy of Level Up, the joy of Dice Tower West is I just get to go around and have fun. I don't have a pressure. Inevitably, like for me as networking, I still tend to get networking done, just almost no matter what, just because honestly, if you're here to have fun and you're in the industry, networking is usually going to happen automatically. Which is good, because I think networking is half the way I justify some of the price of these events. Although Level Up, I don't really get as much networking done. I guess I'm networking with my friends, but not really. I say Level Up, I don't really get as much of a business benefit out of it. It's more the event I'm hosting and running. But even Dice Tower West, I've sat down and played games with, heads of companies just because I'm sitting down and playing games. And then, from there, it suddenly turns into a conversation, either around GameFound or around just, now suddenly I face that person. I do spend a lot of money on conventions. I've shifted all my board game spending to convention travel, and I have to justify it to a degree with this is beneficial to me, to the channel, and all of that. Also, it's fun. Brian, I thought Alex was a robot. Exactly. Pariah, I didn't get to play games with certain people. I am the sad. Yeah, I wanted to play games with a lot of people, and I did not. The people who I think some of the people who I missed out that I wanted to. I wanted to play games with Foster the Meeple. I did not. I wanted to play games with Danielle Standring. I did not. Who else from our group? George, did we play a game? We did play a game, George. We did. I'm trying to think who else. There were a few people who I was like, I should play a game with you. Who else was there? I'm trying to remember who. I feel like there's another person I wanted to play games with that I didn't. But there are people. But I got to play games with a lot of people. Oh, Adrian. I didn't get to play anything with Adrian. I was sad about that. Adrian's not a content creator. He's someone else. Adrian, not Adrian. I always add the R. Adrian. Yikes. You played a game with Danielle. I wanted to play, first of all, good catch. Did I? Oh, Crokinole? Crokinole, is that what it was? Or something else, too. Rolling Hills, yeah. No, I want to play Salt and Sea with Danielle. Specifically, Salt and Sea was on the schedule, but that's a good catch. I did play games with Danielle. You're right. Yeah, I played Rolling Hills, and I played Crokinole, and made Mama go. Yeah, Danielle is fun. So you're right, good catch. But I Salt and Sea was on my mental calendar to play it. Honestly, Coimbra, I didn't get to play Coimbra. I bought Coimbra. I almost played Coimbra. Instead, we played Terraforming Mars, which is honestly most of how Level Up Retreat went. I didn't get to play with you, but Carrie did. This was over the moon about it. Pariah, did we not play a game together? Or are you talking to Meg? I thought we played games, Pariah. Maybe I'm wrong. The White Castle with you will forever be the one that got away. Alex would I wonder if it'd be best to do Meet the Creator. Okay, Alex, would I wonder if it would be best to do a Meet the Creator event instead of scheduling time with them, give people a chance to meet creators in person, make it a happy hour style event? Brian, excellent question. And here's where we get to the problem. A lot of what I do in life, and I think a lot of what I do in life has to be done this way, is starts off with the instinctive bias of what I like. Now, it shouldn't stay there, but it does start there. Both on the creator side and on the audience side, I don't like Meet the Creator events. Personally speaking. That's a personal thing, and this is the problem. I have to remember it's a personal thing and I have to get past that. But I would find it awkward to go to an event where it's like, hey, meet these creators. To me, that's not the way I socialize or get anything out of it. I would love an event of like, hey, let's play, like, you know, let's go ahead and have a crokinole tournament where you're round robining with a bunch of creators. There are things like that. So, yeah, the idea of a Meet the Creator event was suggested at the first level up, and it is something that might happen, but I really have to get more feedback from other people because my instinctive bias is against it from both sides. Because it feels more forced. I like games a lot. Games to me give me an engine to interact. Something else to talk about as opposed to small talk, effectively. Because otherwise it could just be small talk. I like getting to know people. I like getting to meet people. But I don't like it when it feels forced, if that makes sense. Prior, I just wonder... I printed an insert for some screens for the player board. We'll make it happen. I didn't get to play with Alex, Meg, Ryan, Nat, George, Sreb, Stacy. There will be a summer retreat, first of all. And also, come hang out. Play games with us. Tomas, would you make a video about Winter Court? Why do I not know what Winter Court is? I did get to play with Brian. Nice. Daryl, just joined the stream. Curious about your thoughts of Cyberpunk 2077. I liked it during the prototype phase. Have not played it since then, but I have an unboxing going up on the channel. Brian, I wish Level Up had a sign up for table time specific games to be taught, like Galactic Cruise. Again, if it goes up in the event section, we might put stuff like that, but it's a good question. Cat to Cool. Now imagine doing a Magic draft with Innish-style drafting. That'd be so interesting. Yeah, it would be very interesting. Buddy, I lucked out with Galactic Cruise and happened to have Jeremy Howard walk by and join our game. We asked him about it, so I was able to play it on Sunday, which was great. Yeah, I was hoping to play Galactic Cruise with Jeremy Howard at the event. I did not, but I did play it after the event. That's what happened with Tapestry for me. Wife took it back, and then we ended up buying an insert and all expansions for it. Brian was one of the highlights of the convention for me. I love teaching a game I like, and others end up liking it too. Stacy, thank you, Brian T, and coming home with it was icing on the cake. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it's all working out. Professor Meg, you played a game with Danielle, rolling kills. It made Mama go, ooh. Yes, exactly. Stacy, I really wanted to play Coimbra with you, Alex. I wanted to play Coimbra. I brought it. It just didn't happen, unfortunately, but I did bring it. Prior, we played quite a few games together. That's what I thought. That's why I was confused when I thought you were talking about me, but I wasn't sure. We played Cryptid. Lord, we were all drinking that weekend. Yeah. Well, I wasn't drinking that much. I had like a dash. I barely drank. The coffee. The start was a great experience. It just got worse the longer it went on. Alex and I played Veiled Fate, where Austin gifted me a Runemaker's hoodie. Austin's delightful. There was so much Ivy swag going around. Ivy and Orange Nebula had a lot of swag at that convention. Brian T, Meet the Creator event, Blob Party, Skull, Fast Teach, large player counts. Brian, I love that. I love that. I do love that. Yeah, you see, that's what I like. To me, like for example, I had someone at the event asking me, do you think it's a bad idea to have solo games in the library? Because solo games encourage... There was a weird lag and loop. Oh, that's sad. Somebody said that solo games can encourage people to play by themselves, and maybe you don't want that. Maybe somebody who wants to be social, they might retreat into a solo game instead. And I said that I think solo games are a good thing to have in the library, and for a variety of reasons. First of all is, some people might just want to play a solo game. It is what it is. Not everyone wants to be spending all the time being social, so I think it's good to have it from that sense. But also, I think it takes some of the stress off. If you want to play a game with others, and you hang up, and you put up a sign saying players wanted, and you sit there awkwardly at the table while you wait for like 3 people to show up, that's, like, I wouldn't love that personally. Like, I'd probably grab another rule book and start reading rules while I wait for people to show up. But otherwise, you're just kind of sitting there, waiting for people to show up at the table. To me, I almost like the idea of having a solo game, and like grab a solo game. Now, you have to encourage this, otherwise it might not happen. Be like, hey, grab a sign, players wanted. Here's some solo games while you wait. Grab a little Button Strikes Brawlopolis, play Brawlopolis while you wait for people to show up, so you're not just waiting in an uncomfortable, room, hoping people will show up at your table. So that's one of the things I like about solo games. What's the relevance of this? Oh yeah, the relevance is having something to focus on. I like having things to focus on. A Meet the Creator event on its own, to me, it feels a little forced. Again, I always try to put myself in the shoes of the person, but again, it is with my biases, and I know that. But if you go back 10 years, because like right now I know Tom Vassell, so that's great. But like 10 years ago, I didn't know him personally. I just liked his content. And if you put me in a room with him, I don't know if I'd go up to him. I don't know if I would. I don't, and I always encourage people. The irony is, I encourage people to come up to me. So I recognize the irony here. But I don't know if I would go up to Tom and be like, hey, I love your videos. I don't know if I would. But if Tom was sitting at a table saying, hey, we're playing just one, come on down and play, or as he often does with, Meg, what's the game? You know the game. You love this game. The racing game, bets, ready, set, bet, ready, set, bet. If you had ready, set, bet at a table and you're encouraging people to come, that I would love to, because I do want the opportunity to go up to somebody who I like and respect and watch their content. But I want to do so with like a premise preset. So I love the idea of doing that. Yeah, I think we're going to do that next year. I think we're going to try to do a Meet the Creator event. If you're a content creator watching this, you just got signed up for that. But, well, if you're coming on your own, you can do what you want. If you're coming in your badge comp or whatever, not, we might ask people to do this. I might try to do a Meet the Creator event, have every content creator choose the game that they want to, like, sit down and table and whatnot, and people can come and sign up. You know, not sign up, just literally show up, play Skull, play just one, play monikers, do what you want, and then it's kind of a hosted room full of. And I would, again, also because of going back to that aspect of I don't want to force people into bad situations, I would probably tell content creators, feel free to do it with a friend. So you can have, you know, I don't know, Meg and Jenna can go ahead and have a monikers table. And that way they already have preset friends and then also other people joining. And if you want to do it by yourself, by all means. So I really like this idea. It is almost certainly happening at Next Level Up. Thank you, Brian. Wait, the summer retreat? I know there'll be a fall retreat, but I didn't know it's summer. No. We're going to be doing 2 retreats a year. I probably just called the fall one summer. 2 retreats a year. As of right now, unless it gets bigger, it's probably almost certainly 2. Winter Court is a new Thomas Lemon game. I don't know it at all. I need to look into it. Board Collect. Oh, Devin was enjoying his drink. Devin was definitely enjoying his drink. And it wasn't drink singular, I guarantee you that. Eric, I know hotel didn't allow drinks at the VIP, but I wish coffee was there. Yeah, me too. Professor Meg, there's a weird lag and loop. Austin gave me swag back in PAX Youth. I've been repping his swag. Yeah, I like. I mean, right now I'm wearing an Orange Nebula hoodie. This is an Orange Nebula hoodie. I love it. It's my favorite hoodie. Don't tell Austin I said that, but it's true. This is my favorite hoodie. I do like the Moonrakers, Ivy Games hoodies a lot. They're very close, but this is so comfortable. It's ridiculous. Ryan, Alex, I thought Stacy, Adam, and Margaret Anachrony for play to win. She won it for Stacy. Oh, nice. That's awesome. I do want to play Anachrony. I was hoping to play at this event. I was hoping to play it. Board Collect, Block Party is always fun, especially when no one else used Grant but me. John Frosty, what is the latest with your fiber broadband? I just had a weird buffer thing. I'm not sure if it's on my side. Yeah, it's not going great. I don't have an answer. It's not going great. I'm not happy about it. Professor Meg, love that Brian T. Ready, set, bet. Buddy, that fits me. I recognize a ton of creators, but didn't feel comfortable approaching anyone, so every interaction wound up being by chance. You see, Buddy, it's one of those weird things. I will tell people, if you see me at Gen Con, stop me by all means. And if you do stop me, genuinely, I'm happy. Like, the only time it's ever a problem is if I'm rushing somewhere, and then I just feel bad, but I still don't mind that you stopped me. But I'll be like, I'm so sorry, I'm rushing to a meeting, but like, thanks so much, I'm glad, like, but I genuinely enjoy it when somebody just stops me and says, hey, I really appreciate your content. Like, I'm not saying do it intentionally, but I'm saying, don't do it for me, but like, I don't mind it. It's not something that I resent, it's not something that I'm like, oh my gosh, another interaction. I genuinely like it. Also, even knowing that, I'm still not going to do that to the other person. I'm still not going to. My own personality is such that I won't go up to someone who I watch their content that I don't actually have a direct relationship with, and I won't do that. But I would love the opportunity to be forced into the interaction in a natural way. I know I just said forced in a natural way, but that is what it is. So yeah, I like the idea of it a lot. And again, this is all based on my biases. The reality is life does not rotate around me, and other people have different ways that they do things, and I need to remember that in life. Stacy, speaking of hoodies, we need better quality for level up hoodies next retreat. Let's talk. Yeah, I hope to. The tricky part with the tricky part with the gear is you usually do have a choice between price point and quality. Level Up definitely went with cheaper stuff as far as price point. I would love to do quality, but I don't know if we're ready to do a brand. I don't know if we're ready to, like, maybe I should talk to Austin and see what we can do, because I should talk to Austin. I really should. Prior, I love Austin, especially our first meeting story. Austin, 35th birthday today. Thanks for all your amazing content. I appreciate it, Austin. Tomas, thanks. I hope you make a video about it. You're my favorite English-speaking content creator. Cheers from Hungary. I need to get the game. Ryan, Austrian Estrada, happy birthday. Prior, just don't go up and grab a content creator. Is that a thing that happens? Are people just grabbing content creators? I hope not. Don't literally grab a content creator. I mean, Devin does that, but he usually knows the person. Usually. Not always. Anyway, higher quality like Bella and Canvas and Next Level Up and more comparable to Guild these days. None of those words make sense to me. But, tell me whatever. Oh, you're talking about Devin. You are talking about Devin. Devin is a little insane. Yeah, I do want to get better gear. I do want that, because one thing that's always tricky for me is I don't want to sell something that I wouldn't want to use. And just because, like, even my mug, I think the mug, there's a little bit of, pixelation on the thing. I like the thing. Like, I'd rather be watching at 2 times speed. I like that. But I don't like the pixelation on it. And so in general, I do want to sell gear. I just want it to be like, I want to be one of those content creators who's like, I spend a lot of time making sure this is good. I want to spend a lot of time making sure it's something I would actually use and benefit from, and that's when I'm going to sell it. And that's both true for general merch that I do on the channel, which will eventually happen, but also level up stuff. But again, it's always a trade-off. Some people would rather just get a cheap shirt. Some people would rather pay more and have something they're going to wear more often. And I don't have the answer there. We're just going to try to figure it out one step at a time. Okay. Glad I could catch a stream today on my lunch break. Sorry about the car. Thanks for all your content. Appreciate it, Meryl. I am going to go ahead and wrap it up now because I have a video that I probably need to start filming in around 20 minutes with more coffee. But more importantly, I need to go ahead and call emergency care or something and find out what the process is for checking my tetanus status or whatever, and then possibly getting a tetanus shot, because as much as I think there's a very, very, very low risk of bad things happening, I do like my thumb and would rather keep it. Just for right now, at least. It's helpful for board games and stuff. Do you know how annoying it is to pick up pieces with just like that? And I'm right-handed too, so that's a real pain. And anyways, thanks so much, everyone. I appreciate all of you being here. I will see you next week with the game show one, which will be on Thursday, but the time to be defined. So just keep an eye on the thing that pops up that says scheduled stream, because I'm sure that will have more information about that then. In any case, until next time, I appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a good one.